All right.
Cool. Okay, now I can see. Good
You
shit.
want hyperlinks? Yes. Okay. Store a save. R and raw.
Darn raw. Good shit.
Good old yeah.
Good
If
shit.
I tell you what, before we started recording, we just touched bases because we hadn't talked in a while, and then Sarah Hahn brought up Richard Coughlin, who is a somewhat notorious character in the debate circle or whatever it was
Yeah.
that Sarah Hahn and I.
The atheist community, as it used to be known, I guess. Yeah.
God.
Which now it is the great debate community somehow, and the debate's just getting dumber by the hour. So yeah. Good
I liked
shit.
it a lot better when it was just us making ourselves feel smart by outwitting people who thought that the Earth was flat.
Yeah, dude, those were the days. Like when your only rivals were just young Earth creationists. That was it. It was like Venom Thing X, and then the pedophile guy, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah, and you know what the thing is, atheists are so easy to troll.
Oh fuck yeah, dude!
Because you know what?
We're
The
learning
problem is a
that
lot of
now.
them will actually engage, no matter how
Oh, sure.
crazy your position actually is.
Well, yeah, I mean, well, dude, the fucking pride on people, man. Like in that community, it's fun.
Oh
It
yeah.
really is. So the more prideful and fucking full of themselves people are, the easier they are to troll.
For those of
Clearly.
you who don't know these people, especially Richard, good for you. I mean, but Richard's basically like he used to really try to be edgy, but now he's like this low budget internet version of John Oliver.
Well, we were talking about, to be more clear, we were talking about Islam apologists,
Yeah.
and now he is an Islam apologist. It seems like
He
because
has been for a long time.
right, but nowadays, like I'm just starting to notice because there's more of them
Yeah.
online. So now you have big, like you have Steve Shives, who everybody hates,
Yeah.
rightfully so, and then of course there's a bunch of names that nobody really fucking recognizes in the, I guess, to use the term social justice crowd. There's a fuck ton of them. And like if you read enough comment sections, you start to know who to look for.
Yeah.
Like you could see a name and go, God damn, there's a guy called the Green Machine, right? He's one of the dumbest motherfuckers I've ever seen in my life. And you just every time I see his name, I'm about to read something that only an absolute moronic pussy would say. And
Yeah.
sure enough, he never disappoints. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to, we were getting into this conversation before we started recording here, so I'll try not to bore the shit out of everybody. But I did want to read, this is what brought Coughlin into my mind, is that he had retweeted this. And I guess it's a Facebook thing. I don't use Facebook, but it's a post by someone. And it's like one of these stories, and it reminds me of like the old story about the Christian student to stand up to his evil atheist professor. It smacks of bullshit in that same manner, right? Like, this is definitely made up crap for Facebook. But here it is. It says, the most perfect thing I have ever seen just happened on the replacement train bus service between Newport and CWM Brand. I have no idea what that is. Anyway, white man sat in front of a mother and her son. Very important we mention that he's white,
Yeah.
right? Because no one else could be racist. This is what I love about it. White man sits in front of a mother and her son. Mother was wearing a niqab. Do you know what that is?
Yeah. It's a piece of headwear.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, so after about 5 minutes of the mother talking to her son in another language, I guess this guy couldn't identify the language. The man, for whatever reason, feels the need to tell the woman, quote, when you're in the UK, you should really be speaking English, right? At which point, an old woman in front of him turns around and says, she's in Wales and she's speaking Welsh. Perfect. Right. Cute. Sounds like it didn't happen. But here's the thing. Here's what Coughlin tweeted. Or not Coughlin. The guy, he retweeted this. This is what the guy put on Twitter. When hashtag Islamophobia backfires.
Sounds like complete fucking horse shit.
Yeah, and it sounds like run-of-the-mill racism. What the fuck does that have to do with Islam? Other than the fact that he threw in some headwear.
Yeah, exactly. There's lots of languages in the world. You'll hear half of them if you're on a bus.
Oh, yeah, and by the way, if a guy who is the kind of guy that would say that anyway, he's saying that to a lot more people than you.
Yeah.
Like we're talking like this guy is Islamophobic only, and had it not been for the headwear, he probably wouldn't have said that. Oh, by the way, did I mention he was white? Because that's very important too, for some reason. Don't know why that's important, but it is. Anyway,
the whole
point is
bullshit.
This is right after the Orlando shooting.
Oh,
this is what became a priority for a retweet. I don't know if this was the day after or 2 days after, but are you fucking serious? Why? Like, I understand that the inclination is Muslims did some more shitty bullshit. It's time to talk about Islamophobia because holy fuck, it's the biggest problem in the world right now.
Yeah.
Islamophobia.
Microaggressions.
Oh,
Who
absolutely.
gives a shit about mass murder, right?
Fuck it. Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's
I'm like,
this imaginary guy was rude to an imaginary woman on an imaginary bus in a bullshit story that is so filled with holes that obviously never fucking happened.
Right, bingo. First of all, and second of all, where are our fucking priorities here? Like Coughlin, Steve Shives, fucking, I could name 1,000 other people. Like Steve Shives posted a tweet. I can't find it either, but it's no surprise. He said something like, he anti-Islam apologists. He used that term. And I'm like, dude, the only one engaging in apologetics are people ignoring problems and focusing on non-problems. You are literally an apologist for a religion that you regularly claim that you denounce. Like, what the fuck is your obsession with the reputation of a religion? I'll never get it. By the way, part 2, where the fuck were these people, like I was saying to you before we started, when it came to clergy molestation in the Catholic Church? I can tell you, they were writing jokes about it and performing jokes about it and never gave a fuck about how broad the brush was. Yeah. Never occurred to anybody, never gave a shit. Now, I'm not saying it's because they pictured a white guy molesting kids, but I don't know. Call me crazy. Maybe, just throwing that out there.
Should have worn a job and spoken Welsh.
Right, right. I can't connect the dots. Like, how the fuck is this your priority?
Yeah.
Somebody has to sit me down and explain it to me like I'm an idiot as to why Islamophobia, and feel free to Ross Perot the fuck out of me and pull out some charts, okay, is a bigger problem than Islam right now, today. Go ahead and tell me how. Explain it. I would love to hear that. And try not to throw in your fucking white guilt and your fucking fear of being labeled as a bigot by your pseudo-intellectual bullshit peers. Fuck this. It's just so agitating. Prioritize, dipshits. And this is why it's definitely not the great debate community.
Well, after these the shootings in Istanbul, everyone, the same crowd of like apologists, whether they be Muslims who are just turning outrage into a cottage industry, or whether it be these other people like Richard and Shives and so forth, they're saying, the media coverage just shows that they don't care enough about Muslim lives, because when people in Orlando get killed, everybody is just in tears, but then people in Istanbul, and it's like, dude, first of all, everybody's fucking talking about it, right? Until the next atrocity 2 days later. Mm-hmm. How long between Istanbul and the Bangladesh bakery? Is like a week or less. But anyway, everybody's fucking talking about it. It's just that another massacre is going to come right around. And yeah, it is harder to empathize with the people who are far away and you know nothing about. But it's not. That doesn't mean we don't care whether they live or die.
Right.
Leave us the fuck out of it. How about that? Leave us the fuck out of it. It's like if you are in a mortal feud with someone else. How is it my fucking fault? Why and like you're saying, why is that the thing that you focus on? Right? It's like it's like two people it's like the spies from Mad Magazine, the black and white spy, and they limp over, they've got, they're filled with holes, have, knives sticking out of them, and they're saying, "Hey, you should have done something to intervene when he and I were trying to kill each other." I'm like, yeah, it seems like the last time we did that, it really fucking backfired and you blamed us for everything. Like you always fucking will blame anyone but yourselves for your own bullshit. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And by the way, is the popular opinion when something like this happens, fuck Islam? Is that the popular opinion that everyone's fucking jumping? Like
I would say that I would say that overwhelmingly people are pissed off. The
Well,
silent majority is
sure.
overwhelmingly pissed off at Islam and Islamic apologetics.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
because
because
like
I guess I'm surrounded by a
yeah,
certain kind
yeah,
of people.
you've strayed
Yeah.
into an echo chamber of someone else's creation.
Okay. It sure feels that fucking
No,
way.
because I'll go on. I surf a lot of the and I bite onto a lot of the same bait that you do. But you'll notice like there will be a comment section where, the people who say those things, they're just getting shit on, absolutely shit on.
Right.
And then someone will say, oh well, it's not all of them. It's a religion of peace, and that person will have zero thumbs, and some forums don't let you actually thumb things down. Right, so it'll just sit at the bottom with zero thumbs, and then someone will be like, "Blow it out your ass," no actual argumentation, and they'll have like 500 thumbs up in response to it. So yeah, the silent majority is overwhelmingly fed up with that. It's ridiculous. But you know what's funny is, have you been following any of the Brexit stuff?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, what's funny is Thunderfoot and Coughlin are on the same side of that issue.
Oh yeah, I almost tweeted about that.
Yeah,
because I seem to recall that Coughlin had put out a tweet not too long ago, and this was something else that agitated me a little bit. To Sargon of Akkad, going, well, look, the EDL is promoting you, and it was like one random dude from the EDL holding up like this shitty little sign that said Sargon of Akkad with his channel logo on it. And he's like, you might want to reconsider the shit you're saying when this dude from the EDL is defending you. And I'm like, hey, Coughlin, buddy, might want to rethink your position when you're agreeing with the likes of Thunderfoot, eh? That kind of shit. And it's just like, can we not do that? The fucking guilt by association thing? It's all so lazy. Stop fucking being lazy. But Jesus. Yeah, I mean, it's just, at this point, I've had an ass full of anybody who's just lazy as fuck. And just it's all just so transparent. Prioritize people.
What I like there is the double standard. You said it was a picture of one guy.
Yeah, it was one dude. Who, by the way, I don't know who he was.
One guy stands up there with a sign, and he says you should distance yourself from it. But anything Islam related, and it's not all of them. I mean, every single fucking day there's a massacre, but it's not all of them.
Exactly.
I swear, it could be 99. I mean, I'm not saying that this is the case, everyone. I'm not saying this is the case for you retards out there. I'm just saying that for the sake of argument, 99.9% of Muslim believers could be engaged in any kind of activity. Say, oh, see, it's only 99%. It's not all of them. Call me, wake me up when it's all of them. Until then, I'm going to take a nap. Wake me up when it's every single one of them. Like that's necessary for any problem to exist in a society.
Or that it makes even the slightest bit of fucking difference at all. And by the way, where are you with the not all shit on every other group in the planet? I mean, you're going to be busying yourself telling people it's not all of them, like every fucking day concerning everything.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's just...
if someone's eating people's lunches out of the goddamn fridge at work, does it matter whether it's all of them, or does it matter that it's fucking happening and it's not stopping until someone does some shit about it? Jesus Christ, that is the stupidest argument of all time.
Speaking of which, just change the subject, and then we're actually going to play this game. I fucking promise. And I think everybody gets the point. Like, I'm just sick and tired of people's priorities being fucked, and everybody needs to get their shit together and be more like me. Aside from that, speaking of stealing lunches, I had accidentally caught someone stealing my lunch at work one day, and I didn't know it. But it was really funny because he was in the refrigerator in the break room, and I walk in behind him, and this is somebody I work next to every day, and he jumped when he turned around and saw me. I was like waiting my turn to get into the fridge, and he turned around and was like, ugh, and he was startled, and I go, hey, you all right? And he just kind of looked at me, and he's like, oh, yeah, I'm cool. And he was all red, flustered, and fucking scared. And I just went about my business. I got my lunch, and I guess I caught him in the act, so he didn't take anything. And then like a week later, my shit started disappearing.
Yeah.
And then I put it together.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I caught him stealing my shit. So I just walked over to him. I was like, hey, dude, do you want me to just start packing 2 sandwiches? I asked, and he just looked at me like, oh, what are you talking? I was like, listen, dude, I know it's you. either say yes, you'd like me to pack an additional sandwich, or you stop taking the one I pack. Those are your options right now. Choose one. And he didn't say anything. I go, so you're going to stop taking the one that I pack. Super, dude. I
That
appreciate
really
it.
is fucking despicable. There are some jobs where if your blood sugar gets low while you're working, you're fucked up. You can't perform, right?
Yeah, that was
Eat,
one of them, by the way. That was definitely one of them.
yeah, to eat someone else's. What a piece of shit.
Yeah, and it's like, look, dude, it's a matter of sandwiches. Listen, we make the same amount of money. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I know you can afford, so I don't know what you're doing.
It's just the stolen food tastes better to him. He's one of those.
I guess so. And he was young, dude, like at the time. I wasn't much older than him, but he was only like 20 or something at the time. But it was just like, dude, come on. Like, I'll pack you another fucking sandwich if you're really this hard up. And why me? There's like 90 lunches in this motherfucker. Why are you taking mine?
And why steal from the one person who caught you? You'd think you'd eat everyone else's.
That's a great point that it just never occurred to me. Like, he came back for mine for some reason. I have no idea why he chose mine. I really don't. Like, I was like, I know it's not personal because we were friendly before you started stealing my shit. I mean, everything was fine. But yeah, I thought it was funny. It just occurred to me, like, that's what happened. Like, that's why he was so nervous that day. I caught him taking my shit and he dropped it back in the bag.
You whip out your Sherlock Holmes hat and your pipe, and you're like, do that thing where you flick the match you light it with into the fireplace. And you're like, yeah, yeah. But it's funny. I used to getting back to Richard. I used to troll the shit out of him back when Blog TV was a thing, because he would see. Like, I'd make up some silly troll. I used to troll a lot back in the day because it's just, especially with atheists, because it's so easy. It's so easy. All you have to do is just like, I don't understand why you think that 2 + 2 = 4, and they'll be like 5 people will be arguing with you, and it's like, you don't know what you're talking about. And they're just so easy. But he in particular, he gets so emotional and wound up over everything. He is like they call someone a lol cow if they're good to make fun of. Okay, he's a lol cow in like the Hindu sense of worshiping cows. Okay, he is the sacred lol cow. I've never found anyone who was more fun to wind up than that guy and to take the piss.
It's funny to me because I could never tell when he was wound up or just there, because he's one of those guys. He's just got such a fucking motor. He's constantly the flailing and the screaming.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's kind of like, I don't know when you're mad and when you're just hanging out.
Into his chat back when he did these live shows, and he would see it in a chat that was moving lightning fast with over 100 people, like a hawk seeing a field mouse. He would just zoom in on it, whereas other people just ignore it or let that person get blocked. He has to argue with every troll. Or at least he used to be that way. And if he did those now, I know exactly what I would do. I would go in there because they're on this, and I'd accuse him of sucking Thunderfoot's cock over the Brexit drama.
Oh, shit, that might do it. I figured it'd be more like the Family Guy Star Wars thing, just something, 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 Islam, something, 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 Thunderfoot. There you go. The perfect formula.
No, I wouldn't mention the Islam stuff. Oh, no, I might throw it in there. I would probably see, because, I mean, the point of being a troll is you have to be as wrong as possible, right?
Well, fuck. I know some places you can go to take some notes.
Yeah, so immediately if he comes back with, Thunderfoot, because, for those of you people who don't know the actors involved, Thunderfoot and Richard had this major civil war over Islamophobia and shit, and with Thunderfoot being the evil Islamophobe and Richard being the righteous white knight defending all of the olive-skinned people of the world. And anyway, so yeah, I'd immediately say, okay, yeah, so, you just accuse him of this and that, and then you wind him up saying, he's, you and Thunderfoot, always, apologizing for, like, just, you got to pretend like you don't know anything about these people. That's the thing. Okay, here's the thing. If
you were
wanna
always
be
better at that shit than I was, so yeah.
yeah, if you want to be good, if you want to be really good at trolling someone, research what they believe, and then go in pretending like you don't know any of it, right? Just like state the exact opposite and just drive them up the fucking wall as they correct you on every little tiny thing, and just be like, yeah, just like if someone is like one of those Muslim apologists, accuse them of being an Islamophobe, and then just take some. I mean, just be as dishonest as they are, except that you're taking the piss and they're serious.
It sounds like a pretty strong formula, actually.
Yeah, it is. It is. You go in there and you just like you just say, okay, all the shit that Thunderfoot and Richard ever disagreed on, you accuse Richard of just getting all of his opinions from Thunderfoot. And then what's great is I know what he'd say. He'd say, "Oh, you're wrong. Thunderfoot. I made like 100 videos, angry with Thunderfoot about Islam shit," and I'd be like, "Oh, right. You mean on your conveniently deleted channels? Yeah, I'm sure all that hard evidence is right there. What a shame we don't have it anymore, right? Yeah, get the fuck out." Fucking Thunderfoot fanboy.
And kicked.
And see, by that time, he would have just been like red in the face. Oh man, he was so easy to troll, and his reactions were always so funny. That's the thing, is like he like. Oh, one time, the best I ever got him, I think. I went in there, and I was like, "Yeah, you're a Muslim apologist. Fuck you." And I actually pretended to be someone else who had trolled him on a video, and like I read their exchange and then picked it up where they left off, like I was that person. So he already hated me, thinking I was this other guy, right? And then I just, and it's like really easy to mimic the style of the person. He's arguing with some really obtuse guy who is like an amazing atheist fan. And anyway, so I'm winding this guy, and he's like, "Oh yeah, because Muslims have so much power in the West, right? They have so many high offices, and so many people in the high government office are Muslims in the West." And I said, "There are." And he's like, "Oh yeah, name me one high." And I said, "Obama." And I thought he was gonna have a hemorrhage. He couldn't even get the words out. He was so mad. He's like, Obama, and that was it.
That's good shit.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, I wish that was one of the ones I was there for. Damn. Oh fuck.